Hey guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Clash Royale with some Pro v Pro action. Now this is actually part of the Clan Wars segment that Surgical Goblin is doing on his channel. He puts his clan, Hammers Esports, against another top clan in the community, and they go straight up head-to-head 5 vs 5, just single elimination matches, well basically just 1 vs 1, there's no best ofs, and then whoever comes out with the most wins out of the 5 matches with their 5 top players, they take away the prize as the, I don't know, the king of the Clash Wars clans. And I think this is just a really great idea by Surgical, so be sure to go ahead and check out the previous episodes, and then he'll also be uploading his version of this 4th Clan Wars as well. Now, speaking of the previous 3 episodes, we're going to have our work cut out for us here. As you can see, Diego at the top and Backstab X at the bottom here in the first match, and this is definitely a battle of the heavyweights. Diego just beat Surgical Goblin for the first time ever in Pro v Pro, meaning that Surgical Goblin was previously undefeated. So Diego kind of making a name for himself here, and he's definitely got his work cut out for him against Backstab X, who is widely considered one of the best players in the entire game. He won the crown duel. He beat out thousands to make it to the main stage, and then he beat everybody, including Marcel P, to get to the finals, and then he beat Odyssey at the finals to win the crown duel. That's Backstab X on the bottom there. Now, unfortunately, I actually interviewed Backstab X, and the quality, for whatever reason, kind of is total crap. So I'm having one of my audio guys take a look at it, see what he can do, but I fear that I might lose that interview for you guys. But otherwise, I'll definitely have him on the channel in some capacity in the future. So Backstab getting a really strong graveyard push coming in with the Elite Barbarians, but the Barbarian Hut actually does a pretty good job countering not only Elite Barbarians, but just thriving in this meta, especially in a graveyard deck by Diego here. Diego actually played this deck in his face-off with Surgical Goblin, and he played 2 variations, one with the poison spell and one with the freeze spell. So if you want to try out 2 different variations of the same relative deck, go ahead and give it a shot here. Backstab playing another graveyard deck, but with Elite Barbarians instead of the Barbarian Hut. Obviously a few other card adjustments as well. No guards. Guards are actually a great card. I'm surprised that more people don't use them with Elite Barbarians being so popular right now. They buy you a lot of time for only 3 elixir, so half the cost of the Elite Barbarians. Now, I should note that so far, Hammers Esports is undefeated in these clan wars. So they've gone against Mortar Combat, which is Colton's clan. They've gone against Altar of Elites, which is the other Ash's clan, and they've also beat Reddit Alpha. So they beat 3 really good clans so far. So we're gonna have our work cut out for us. And Diego strikes first there, but there's not a lot of HP left on his tower, and there's still 20 seconds. So Backstab needs something big to happen against that tower there. He does the Fireball Graveyard combo, but look at this, those guards, the Ice Golem, everybody doing a pretty good job distracting those skeletons, and he does not have the Fireball up right now in his cycle. He's gonna need to cycle over to the Fireball. He can't do it in time, and wow, Diego picks up the first win, and that was a really big win for us, guys. That was the first match of the entire clan versus clan battle, and Diego just barely, just narrowly picking up that W there. So let's keep things moving along here and move on to Jordan versus One Hive Hunter's match. So both of these guys, again, really good players. One Hive Hunter, a good guy. He's competed in a bunch of my Brenchong CWA tournaments, and he's won quite a few as well. He was also a big name of my daily tournaments for quite a while there. I change times pretty often in that, so I know it's hard for people to kind of get a grasp on when they actually happen, but for now they're going to happen at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. My tournaments, Brenchong's, happen at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So anyway, getting to this match here, you can see Jordan on the bottom, Elite Gaming on the bottom, Hammers on the top. Jordan playing the Lava Hound deck, the Lava Hound balloon deck that him and Nick love so much. And by the way, stay tuned for matches from Trainer Nick and Surgical Goblin and quite a few other big names in the community, including our newest member. It's been probably about 2 or 3 weeks since we've had Jewish Panda in the clan, so he's going to be in this match as well. And Jewish Panda also has a YouTube channel that I'll link for you guys, and obviously Surgical Goblin does too. I'll link that as well. So I think I've got all the shoutouts that I need to cover here handled. Now let's get to this actual match here. So Jordan's playing the Lava Hound deck that him and trainer Nick really love. This is the same deck that I used, only with one substitution in the Electro Wizard Challenge. Obviously, you have to play the Electro Wizard, so I played him in the minion spot here, but I played the same deck otherwise, and I really enjoyed it. I won 3 grand challenges in the Electro Wizard Challenge out of about 10 or so challenges, so certainly not bragging there, but I was able to get anyway a level 2 Electro Wizard, which was pretty cool. So the balloon gets to the tower. Does he? No, just narrowly, but that new splash damage buff, I think it was like 130%. That's not exactly accurate, but it was over 100% buff to the destruction damage of the balloon, and that's really, in a nutshell, why balloons are now viable again. They can kill archers upon their destruction at tournament level standards, and they can do a significant amount of damage to the actual tower, even if they don't actually reach the tower. I really liked this buff. You know, it wasn't necessarily subtle, but it kind of went under the radar with all the other buffs added in the last update. By the way, I do suspect we might be seeing another balance update relatively soon. Don't quote me on that. That's just speculation, but I know that the team is back from their winter vacation, so I would suspect something might be coming pretty soon here, and it does seem to be just about that time where we might be seeing some adjustments. Maybe a slight nerf to Graveyard, maybe a slight nerf to Elite Barbarians. I think you guys know how I feel. I do think Graveyard does need very slight nerf, not a big one, as some people are calling for, and I do think that Elite Barbarians should be untouched, but I don't think I will be in the majority there. I do think they will be nerfed. So what a great start here for Elite Gaming. Jordan picks up the W there, basically just able to out-damage one Hive Hunter with those big Lava Hound balloon pushes, and something, if you do want to go ahead and watch that match again, just to get a feel at how to really successfully play one of those Lava Hound decks and maybe put my big mouth on mute, you can go ahead and do so, and you'll want to notice specifically how Jordan, whenever he went against the Furnace, he made sure that balloon was going to target the Furnace after the Lava Hound was distracting both the Crown Tower and the Ice Spirit summoned by the Furnace. A little tip for you guys there, but I sometimes see players using the balloon directly behind the Lava Hound, even if they have to contend with a defensive structure. You're better off just waiting a little bit and using that balloon more towards the center of the arena, away from the bridge. That way it will target immediately the fastest course to the Furnace or whatever might be there in the center of the map. It could even be a Barbarian hut such as this here, and you can see Jewish Panda now on the bottom here, and he's going to play again a very similar variation to the deck that Diego was using, but you'll notice he has both the Electro Wizard and the Fireball in this deck, and it's definitely a very powerful deck. I'm curious, I did a poll and about 29% of you guys had the Electro Wizard, were able to get him either through the challenge or subsequently through a super magical chest or a different chest if you're really lucky. So I'm curious, how many of you guys still have the Electro Wizard? I mean, I'm tempted to want to do more videos covering him, but I hate doing videos on one specific card that not many of you guys have. Doesn't make too much sense for you guys, and it's kind of a waste of my time if not many of you can benefit from it. So anyway, let me go ahead and digress and get back to this match here. So surprise, right? Another Graveyard versus Graveyard duel here. Naruto at the top playing the Goblin Hut variation of the deck, whereas Jewish Panda at the bottom playing the Barbarian Hut variation of this deck. So definitely an interesting deck combinations for both players. Of course, Naruto also has the freeze spell, so definitely more of a kind of a control-y deck. He has the bowler as well, versus, in my mind, a little bit more of an aggressive deck in Jewish Panda. Now, the thing about the freeze spell is it's awesome, especially on ladder when you can level it up and it has a longer time, a longer effect. It's still very effective on tournament level standards as well, but just from what I've seen with my own 2 eyes, I've actually seen people have just more success with straight up damage spells, so like Poison or Fireball, but that's not to say I haven't seen a lot of people still successful with the freeze variation. So far, I mean, Jewish Panda, if he can pull this down, we'll be up 3-0, and that will be pretty significant for us. And of course, all the matches so far, the first first two matches have been relatively close. The first one super close, and I can't stress enough right now how amazingly talented these Hammers guys are. They certainly have one of the best reputations as being both great people in the game and also amazingly skilled players in the game. In fact, I probably should shout out two more of their guys because I absolutely love Full Frontage. He's a Twitch streamer as well as Mini Brazzi. He does it all for charity. Great, amazing guys, so check them out as well. I'll include a link to all four of my favorite dudes in Hammers Esports in the description so you can check them out. And getting back to this match here, you can see things are really neck and neck. As soon as one player has a really big offensive push, the other player answers back, and it's really a game of tit and tat, right? Tit and tat? I don't know. Parental advisory, kids, but you get the point, guys. So basically, I think the difference here, the reason Jewish has a slight lead is because of the freeze spell. It's because every time that Jewish has a big offensive surge, he's able to parlay it with that fireball direct damage to the tower, and then conversely, whenever Naruto has some big push, he uses the freeze spell and is just not able to do that extra damage. So it's kind of, you can see, it's kind of tilting things in favor of Jewish Panda, and this is going to be it. That one final skeleton gets that final blow against that left tower, and there it is, game, set, match. That's 3 wins for Elite Gaming and 0 still for Hammers Esports, but don't turn off your video, guys, just because the match is technically over here. We still have some great matches from Surgical Goblin versus Palumbo right now, and then the last match is going to be Trainer Nick versus Marcus 35, so that should be a great match to watch. So let's go ahead and see Surgical at his best here. Surgical playing the Electro Wizard Graveyard deck, as you can see at the top. Kind of a crappy starting hand there for Surgical Goblin. He has no choice but to play the Mega Minion, and look at the bottom there, guys. Palumbo playing an interesting X-Bow Siege deck, so he's going a little bit off meta right now. X-Bow's certainly not too powerful right now in the meta, especially with Elite Barbarians, and even interestingly enough, the Electro Wizard, if you can get them to the X-Bow, you can get it to retarget onto, say, the Barbarian Hut without having to use a zap spell or a retargeting spell. You can have the Electro Wizard do it all on his own. So there's actually a few options here that Surgical Goblin has against the X-Bow, so it's actually a pretty good counter deck to what Palumbo is running, and that's the danger in running the X-Bow Siege decks right now in the meta, because there are just so many retargeting tools as well as so many fast offensive options, such as obviously the Elite Barbarians. It just makes it very difficult to protect your X-Bow in time before the opponent can just cycle onto your X-Bow, and you end up walking away with a negative elixir trade, or at least a totally useless X-Bow. So that's why it's dangerous right now playing one. But Palumbo, a very good player in his own right. He is the captain of our CRL team, and he's one of our organizers. He's also in charge of our Twitter, one of the few guys in charge of our Twitter account, so he's kind of like our social guy. He knows everybody in the community. He's a good guy. So what he's doing here is playing a little bit conservatively now. He knew that Surgical Goblin had that Barbarian Hut up in his rotation, so there'd be a pointless play of the X-Bow even though he was at full elixir. So right now he's got to take care of that Barbarian Hut. Barbarian Hut just a real pain in the neck to X-Bow users, because not only does it have an incredible amount of HP, so it takes forever for the X-Bow to take it down, but also it summons the Barbarians, so essentially whenever that Barbarian Hut is up alive on the arena, your X-Bow's gonna have issues getting to that tower, because you have the Barbarians coming at you, providing, you know, anti-siege on their own, and obviously all the HP behind that Barbarian Hut as well. So you can see Surgical Goblin pretty much unfazed, even by the 2 X-Bows here on the board, and Elite Barbarians to actually get to his tower there. That could have been dangerous there, but luckily that Mega Minion targeted the correct one, and they actually went down pretty fast, given, you know, how dangerous possibly Elite Barbarians can be on one's tower. So now another, and could it be a final graveyard push here for Surgical Goblin? Those minions doing a great job defensively for Palumbo, so it doesn't look like he's going to be able to get that tower down. down. But I think right now, as things stand, Surgical Goblin does have the edge, although Palumbo certainly able to kind of get things closer to even with that last Elite Barbarian push there in the right lane. However, the Expo is going to be relatively useless. Again, Fireball comes raining down on both Expo and Tower for Surgical Goblin. Minions are alive, but minions are out of rotation. That's going to be big trouble here for Palumbo, because all Surge has to do is drop down the graveyard, and look at this, Palumbo found without his counter there. The minions, the next card up, and it's not going to be enough. Tower goes down. That's why it's super important to remember what counter you have in hand and when you're going to need it for your opponent's win conditions, such as the graveyard there. So now, guys, let's hop into the final match. It's Marcus 35 on the top and Trainer Nick on the bottom. Trainer Nick playing another graveyard. No, not graveyard, Ash. Believe it or not, a few of these matches don't include graveyard. So it looks like Marcus is playing a control deck. It will be interesting to see, is he playing graveyard? Is he playing a minor control? It's been a while since we've seen that in tournament play. We'll have to wait and see here. There goes the Inferno Tower to counter that Lava Hound. Now really pay close attention to how Nick plays this Lava Hound deck, because he's really one of our best Lava Hound players, possibly one of the best Lava Hound players in the game, and I don't say that lightly, because he actually has gotten to #1 in the entire world with a Lava Hound deck. So definitely a skilled player when it comes to Lava Hound in balloon decks. So have you guys seen the balloon deck going around lately? It's actually, a lot of people are using it without the Lava Hound. It's just a balloon deck. I think I might do a deck breakdown on that deck, because I'm starting to see it rise in popularity lately. But anyway, that's kind of a topic for another video. As you can see here, Trainer Nick trying to reload with the Tombstone, playing that before the Lava Hound. The Marcus uses the poison spell against the Tombstone, but Trainer Nick, given that he has a Lava Hound down on the arena right now, he does have an elixir advantage, so this ought to be a pretty successful push if he can deal with this Inferno Tower. So there's the Inferno Tower, and just at the perfect timing, he places the balloon right behind the Lava Hound there. Now the balloon's going to get to that Inferno Tower very quickly. Good Fireball taking out the Inferno Tower, the Electro Wizard, and putting that Mega Minion there on life support, and the balloon actually able to get all the way from the bridge behind the Lava Hound to the Inferno Tower to the Crown Tower, and able to totally take it down. So that was a really good push there by Trainer Nick, and again, it's worth noting that he did have about a 3 or 4 elixir advantage before he placed that Lava Hound, before he started that big push, and that's really, really difficult to defend against, as you saw, even if you do have the Inferno Tower in hand. Marcus 35, a really good player in his own right here, and I think at this point in the match, given that it is the 5th game, I think Marcus just gives up the 3 crown at this point. I think this is in the match here, so yes, it does happen. He doesn't actually make any other plays. I think, you know, after this, it was probably a long day, and but, you know, hats off again to all the Hammers eSports guys. I really, you know, truthfully, I can't say enough good things about every single person I've ever met from Hammers eSports. So if you guys are looking for a great clan, go check them out. If you're looking for another videos kind of highlighting these matches, go check out Surgical Goblin's channel. And if you're looking for any of these decks, well, go ahead and watch on right now, because we're going to scroll through them. So this is Surgical Goblin's deck. I just showed Trainer Nick's deck. This is the deck that Jewish Panda used to win. A lot of graveyard coming into the first few decks here, as you can see, and then we're going to go ahead and show the, actually, remember Jordan used as well a very similar deck to Trainer Nick. Was it the same? I didn't even notice if it was exactly the same, but either way, a really solid Lava Hound deck. It does have those hard counters for the Elite Barbarians in case you want to play it in tournament or ladder as well. It works great. And then this is the first match here. Remember how close that was between DiegoB and Backstab X. By the way, check out Backstab X, check out Surgical Goblin. Again, check out all these guys, check out Mini Brazi, check out Full Frontage, and I'm going to include all the links for you guys in the description below. So hats off to Hammers Esports, and good job to Elite Gaming. You guys always do me proud. Awesome, awesome players. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching, guys, and have a great, happy day in New Year. And as always, take care, guys.